Today, we see a lot of innovation in the prosthetics market. Prosthetics are a very hard thing to do because people born with missing limbs or people that have lost limbs lose functionality. Now, adding that functionality might be a little hard, but printers offer an alternative solution. Today, 3D printers are made and customized to a person's need. So, if you can see, Hannah has been born without fingers, and using 3D printers and 3D printed prosthetics, we can give her full maneuverability and full functionality of her hand by using this prosthetic. This is amazing in terms of customization because as Hannah grows older, so will the rest of her body. And as she grows, she will be able to always print the prosthetic needed. So let's say if Hannah was playing around as little kids do and she breaks a few fingers or a finger off of her prosthetic, she can immediately go to her file and her 3D in her 3D file where her prosthetic hand is at and build another finger within the hour to attach. This gives them constant customization in terms of what they want, what will make them feel better, and offering full functionality to their limbs, whether they're small or bigger. Now, another disruptive innovation that's coming up due to 3D printing is lattice innovation. Lattice innovation is the ability to build objects using more exoskeletons and more lattice geometric shapes to support that model. Now, as you can see, these patterns are very complex to build by hand or by manufacturing machines we have today. Due to their complexity and they're always being intertwined together, this will be very hard to build by hand also. But 3D printers can build that very easily. These lattice innovations offers more structural support, more more strength, and more absorption to vibrations, as you can see in the bicycle seat. So rather than getting bicycle seats that might be made with silicone or whatever, you can actually print those bicycle seats, which will be easier on your back in terms of absorbing the energy, and will be very hard to break. Lattice innovations now have been shown to be used in automotive industries and producing aerospace uh, parts due to their lightness and weight and how strong they are. This is also something that I consider will considerably take off in the near future due to the amount of strength it can offer. Think of it this way. Now, we usually build buildings based on I beams and perpendicular uh, beams together and stuff like that. Most of our buildings are either square, rectangles, have some sort of angle. Lattice innovation gives us more strength to explore the way our geometry in building has come to be. So think about all the new innovations in buildings and in shops that can be developed and produced due to this lattice innovation. It'll change the literal geometry of how we live and the way we look at things in terms of everything being rectangular or having some sort of edge. In recent years, we started seeing a lot of the automotive and automation auto space auto space parts. Excuse me if I keep shutting up. It's really hard for me to present those presentations, but I'm giving it my all, and I'm really interested in this. So just give it a sec. We've been seeing a lot of the automotive and aerospace parts being developed by 3D printers. If you look on the left, everything shown in that car has been 3D printed fully as a part. Th- This is big in terms of manufacturing. The more 3D parts that are being used out there, the more user user friendly they'll become. The more users that are actually use it, and it's what 3D printing needs now is more users. So when big industries like the automotive and aerospace industries start using 3D printing parts for their wind for their turbines or jet engines or cars, the more people will get familiar with 3D printing and have a sense of an idea of how to work it and where to implement. The reason for implementing these 3D printing products in those vehicles is because, again, they're much lighter than the original products. They'll guarantee, like for the car, for example, lighter products will give you higher speed because less mass on the car. For the jet engine, a lighter turbine will generate more power on a higher engine. So that's why they're using 3D printed objects. This is evidence to the fact that 3D printing might become the next industrial revolution in terms of manufacturing and supply, just by those industries taking a part of it. Space and disaster locations. This is amazing. I've read about this before, but when I first read it, I was amazed by it. So, in the International Space Station, there's a lot of tools that they need, and there's a lot of thinking that goes into what makes it on the shuttle to send to the astronauts and all of that. But recently, they sent a 3D printer, and this 3D printer has proven its worth up there. In one video, you see the astronaut having trouble tying a certain knob in the space shuttle, and he 3D prints himself a wrench to help get the job done. In serious and extreme situations, small parts and tools can be considered very important. What you might have as a screwdriver lying around the house all day might be worth your life saving in a serious situation, and that's what happens in space and disaster locations. What I believe 3D printing will do for these places is give them a tool that can create tools, and that in itself is an innovation that can disrupt our whole community. Just having think about it as an idea of having a first aid kit be a 3D printer, or you can have a 3D printer that just prints first aid stuff, so you can have an unlimited amount of bandages or unlimited amount of certain patches or vaccinations. It is an amazing tool for us if it's in space exploration or if it's a hurricane that hit Texas or North Carolina. There's also many uses for these printers in these situations. But another thing that another printer that might be available in the future that I think would really help in these situations, and they are experimenting with it now, is a food 3D printer that takes protein based products and turns them into food, like your own personal chef. And that has been gaining a lot of attention recently also. Now, while 3D printing since its inception was a disruptive innovation in prototyping, it is still regardedly used for prototyping in general, but it's made its way through recent years in all of these different markets in front of you, like repair and maintenance, research and development, production parts, tools and fixtures, and bridge reconstruction. 3D printer has made its rise in all innovations that can have a way to provide more efficient services. We see this today with health. We see this today with automotive. We see it in a lot of different things that were mentioned. Also, a main point is product to consumption. This is something I really care about or really want to talk about. Now, think of it this way: when you buy a phone case or when you buy a product from Amazon, there's multiple steps that go into that. Number one is the manufacturer in the factory, and then it being shipped to you until it reaches your door. 3D printing can cut all those middlemen out. It could just be from production to you, and this creates a new market. As you can see in the second picture down, that the rate for product and consumption is the same. So we're not